Hey Alexa, what's today's date?
Today is Friday, 8th of May.
The 8th of May. Yo, you see where I sleep last night? Yo, my knock out right here, so. I'm burning some ganja. Oh, so you're going to some more cleaning today? Because I still smoking. Just wake up. It was like little after 2 o'clock. Like literally, I've been up less than about 40 minutes. You time this, huh? I wake up little after 2 o'clock. This herb did loud. It give me a good sleep. I don't normally go up for indicas. But my brother owned a dispensary and I went to check him and him say, yo, pick up this. And so yeah, I tried it out last night, put on my pipe, put on my vape. I'm now start this on my breakfast. So yeah, today I feel good because today is Friday. And you know that we started this project literally 4 weeks ago on Good Friday. So technically speaking, Sunday is going to be day 30 of filming. Now see me here? Yeah. And as I say, right here so, I listen to my music, yo, my phone battery all dead. I just crash right here so. I'm wake up, I'm gonna see my fish them and look for me. I'm like, yo, any food for us this morning, Raz? I mean, Pumper Clark, look on the tank. Yeah, so today I'm definitely going to do the rock drop. You're going to see the one. For now, I don't think I'm going to do anything else other than that. Oh yes, shit. Janja gave me another idea, which we were negotiating and discussing on. She was explaining to me the benefits of something else I'm going to do today along with the rock drop, which is supporting the whole biological water exchange. Because that's the whole theory here. You hear me say if I put another probe in this tank, it's going to be the ORP probe from Neptune. Again, because I'm thinking about simplicity. I know what that data will do for me. And ORP probe is not a probe you have to calibrate. So I have nothing in here that I have to calibrate. The Senai is really just, you soak the slide and you just drop it in. So there's no calibration on the Senai slide. That's necessary. So I like that flexibility. This system will have no, it's food, it's feeding. Think I come to feed him. See them there? And like, you feeding me? You feeding me? See you here talking out. He's at the tank top, coming, waiting to see if I'm going to feed him. They have gotten so accustomed to me now. With that's why, there's a benefit in hand feeding your fish versus just using a automatic fish feeder. So from now on, the automatic fish feeder, and I have two, will be when I'm traveling. So, and I'll never again mix two different types of food in a feeder. I don't know why I was doing it, but Jai just revealed to me. And you have to travel, because we'll talk about that. Just how the intimacy of this tank I have with them if I have to travel for a week. No problem. The automatic fish feeder will be programmed to make sure it's dispensing flakes in one, pellets in another. And on different days, I can really still give them that type of care. I don't have to do no water exchange. No biological water exchange because the tank is so rock solid. And you're going to see one of the things I'm going to be doing today while Ganja and I was talking about it. Up to this morning, because every day I ask, so what else? Is there anything else here? Because I feel like I've bought pretty much everything for this phase, because we're wrapping it up this on Sunday. And then we're going into hopefully sailing. And I know you guys want to see me grow corals in here. So you're going to see the lights go on. And you're going to see how I light my tank. And how I recommend any new reefer, especially new reefers, how you start. Everything you see me doing here is what I recommend you do. So you're going to see me how I start to turn on my lights, and you're going to see how the mushroom responds to it over time, gradually. And that's why this is going to be a 9-month project. I shouldn't even call it a project. 9-month experience. I don't know how it's going to all unfold, but I am committing to it. So long as I have health, life, and strength, it is my desire to document this for 9 months, so you all can see the data that comes from this, and that you can all be guided accordingly as to how you want to implement any of these things if you want, or develop on it and come up with something that's going to help us even more. But this is a fundamental science. So today I'm going to talk about I've been talking about biological water exchange a lot, but you never heard me really talk about the chemical side of it outside of like looking at pH. So we're going to talk about the biological chemical demand and how I'm going to be addressing that, because remember, there are chemical reactions happening in your water all the time. There are some things that bacteria can eat and break down, like heavy metals. So how do we address that? Remember, our source is tap water. So because our source is tap water and it's coming through different type of lines to get to us, it's passing over all kind of things, metals. It's going for Calgary, being one of the best cities on earth with the highest level of tap water, is why, as I said before, I feel confident in using tap water, because our water is really coming from the Rockies. You find a better freshwater source. How many other freshwater sources around the world you can compare to the water quality coming from the Rockies? Huh? And that's what I'm using. So yes, I have to address the system side of it, which is, as I said, the water comes in contact not with just the minerals in the earth that mineralizes it and gives it a nice high pH, just stably. Calgary's water is typically around 8. So you're going to see me how I'm going to attempt now to stabilize the chemical reactions that are happening in the tank. And by now, some of you probably been guessing and figuring out what I'm about to do, but you don't know the product I'm going to use specifically, because I've never used it. You know, I've used a sister product, I should say. It's related product, like the base level of that product before, but the manufacturer says that this is their turbo XLT fully loaded version. So I'm going to try that in the tank to accomplish my rock drop and deal with the chemical demand of this tank, and to help continue to purify the water. And you'll see that shortly. But I'm also going to be improving the bacterial count in the tank, and that's what Ganja and I were talking about. And you'll see why I was having this conversation, how I learn about what I'm doing as I go along. Some of the science that I'd studied before comes back to me little by little, because I want to try and make sure I'm explaining things to y'all in a way that most people can grasp and understand. So I'm gonna try the shift side this way. So this is what I wake up to. Yo, I don't know. I'm sure by now I am not the only person that looking on this. I have to give you what did I call it? Dancing wave. That's the name. I want to find the Indian. Let's say Indian, Aboriginal. I want to find the Aboriginal term for that, because there's something about those advertising air balloon, dancing balloon things that you always see on the roadside, where with events or come now big sale at the car. You know that there's something that draws us to it because of how it moves in the air. It is so fun. That's what this exactly is, but it's with water. And it moves in such a different, more subtle, softer way than the one with the air. But it's the same type of dance. It's like sometimes it looks like it's two of them dancing and hugging up. Then it looks like so many different things. But it is so soothing. So for me, this would be the number one aquatop feature of the tank, because it serves so many purposes. It also gives me a good heads-up view of the circulation and flow in the tank. That I have good flow right throughout the entire water column. You see where the tip of this is? The tip of this is almost literally right below. If I had moved the glider over a little bit more, you would see that the difference in the tip and where the glider is only because of the phone and not giving the proper perspective. At one point in time, I would have to say, I'd have to give it to no more than 1 inch or 2. About 2 inches difference. And the surface at the flow at the surface of the water either. So right through this deep 50 gallon tank, this one wave pump is giving it all the kind of circulation, and the fish them love it. So maybe I'll film this next part of it as I do the well, I'm going to the drop rock, so you can actually see what it is and how I'm going to go about it, because there's some important steps that I'm taking that, as I said, this is my documentation of how I think you should do it. Do not do this outside of using exactly what you see me use, it's equivalent or better. That is what Ganja tell me for telling you. This is the blueprints to the ark. Don't do anything less than this. So for now, as I said, the ark door going close. By time you see these videos, I promise you, in my spirit, this is how I feel. There's nothing else coming into this tank. If there is any form of life form, guess what? I'd rather build another tank than put it in this one. Yeah. So the vision I have of the mushrooms and the core, the frag rocks, you know what I'll do? I probably will maybe even put in the frag rock them, but I don't think I'm going to put no corals in there. I don't think I want to put anything more in this tank. The attachment you get into it and the protection you get over your tank at this stage is like, why risk it? Seriously. Is it for my personal enjoyment just to see another colorful fish? Then if you want another colorful fish here to do, put another bomber clad tank right beside this one. Yeah? And if I were to do that, I think I like the idea of a 90-gallon cube. I would drop another tank right beside it and start another tank so them can kiss it up beside each other so the fish can see each other. Maybe. But why risk this one? I'm getting so attached to it, so protective over this one, that I really think that I don't want to risk putting anything else in here. I might as well just get a second tank. So these are the emotions and things that are spinning inside of me, and I just share them with you as it comes, and that's because I'm high. I love the look here. You know, I have a real good 360-degree look at my tank everywhere. Oh, you know, I'm going to tell you this story. Yes, I'm going to tell you the story. Why are you hiding up there from me? Huh? I'm frightened you're walking around the tank. I don't know why you're hiding up there from me. You see Foxy? Hiding away from me. Anyway, I tell you now, it's you are going to come to talk about, because see at this angle, standing up, and there's a point to the, I don't know if it's a him or her, out to you. You can't find her. She frightened me 3 days ago because I was going to bed, did my servicing, right? The lunar lights were on, and because I look on the tank so much, I like to tell them good night. And so I was over here and I was about to go to sleep, and I came and I told Clowny good night, because Clowny always sleeps. Come to kiss me again. Eh? Right here. Since you come over every time, see me, you start to come to me now. There's such a relationship. When you start to look your fish in the eye and hand feed them, there's such a different experience you have with them. So Clowny's right here, as he normally goes to bed, right in these little plastic reefs. Coming back to me, look here. Yes, you're okay, you're on camera. You want the camera. There you go. You're on camera. See? You're on camera. Show them how you look. Huh? Let them see how you swim in here. Since you want to show up. Ooh, look at that. Show them how you swim in. You really showing up? Show them how you like the current and what you can do in there. Look. Look at how you like in the current. Yeah? Oh, I say gliding in the tank. Ooh, look at that. This is what I watch all day long. This has been such a... Yo, you see that wave pump? Boy, you can't get me to get another take another pump, you know. Good luck if you're trying to get me to get another pump. But there's also something else. Swim to the glass like you want to swim to the camera now. Sure enough. You see the heater light? Now, initially, that wasn't my initial plan. The heater light, all I had to do was turn the heater down so that the light would point on the base of the pumice rock, and at the base of the pumice rock, because it is, you can see that grayish whitish color, I would just be able to look easily and see if the heater is working. But you are all excited. You are so excited, and I would be able to see, you know, in a more subtle way if the heater is working. I don't know why Jad tell me to leave it like that, but there's some way. Every time I come to this part of the room, which is right at the edge of the couch here, so I can look and I get this quick heads up. Yes, the heater is on. If I just shift like this, right here, which is normally the viewing angle, you don't see the light. You notice? So it doesn't bother me. It's when I'm here, even it gives an interesting glow at night. It's almost like a little submarine. Because when I'm like this, you don't, the light is not in your eye, but you see this glow in the plant. Like that, you see the heater light just reflecting through it. It's an interesting look, and I don't know if that's sort of why Clowny like this spot too. Who knows? Anyway, I'm watching to see that, but that gives me a quick heads up that I can see the heater. The heater is working, always, and it is always on. The heater is always on because of the controller. You see what the controller does, and I'll show you why I use this over every other controller. All right. You see that little Wi-Fi bar there, so to the right hand side? That tells me the amount of power this power regulator volts is pushing to the heater. That is now at its top peak. Typically, the bottom number tells you the temperature I set the controller to control the tank at. The top numbers, you see, just change, is telling you the temperature in the tank, and that the power regulator now has the heater at max, trying to keep the temperature up. And the reason you see it bouncing right here is because I have the window open, and it is very cool outside. If I open the door right now, I have to shut it back in about a minute. So it's cool. Today's a very, very cool day. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up the temperature. I'm not gonna know. Hey Alexa. Hey Alexa, what's the temperature in Calgary today?
Right now, it's 7 degrees Celsius. Tonight, expect a low of 1 degree.
You see what I mean? So we're coming out of the coolness of the morning. This window, you see me say I wake up at 2 o'clock? Well, that was the second wake up. The first wake up was very early because I had intended to leave the window open all night, and I forgot that I had closed it right before I fell asleep because it's so fucking cold. I said, yo, I can't bear this no more. Even with the tiny crack, the house was getting cold. And this regulator, it dropped. I've never seen it drop below 24.7. It dropped down to 24.3. Full blast. That means I knew the temperature coming in from outside was even at full blast. And the heater that I'm using here, you see, it's rated up to, I believe, it's a 75 gallon tank. It's 150 watt. Easily controls this tank. Was now struggling and was dropping a degree in trying to keep the tank cool, at its right temperature, but also because, remember, at night the flow slows down. So because the flow slows down, the spinning of the water, which was over the heater, this is different from the inline heater, which I loved, why is that brand slipping me now? You know the brand I was using with the canister, and I literally tried to fit it into this design when I was going back to the canister style system. But you see where we are. That is now the hospital. And I have a way of still doing it if I ever want to. The high door. You love it. Look here. Let me tell you why I love the high door heater. You see, even in the winter, when I open my door, you think this budge? This did probably budge 0.1 ever with the inline heater. And so the inline heater working with this, look here, it's rock solid, no matter which window open in the house. It's the first thing I notice when I switch to this heater in the system, is that as I change environment temperature in my home, it reflects now into the tank, whereas before it wasn't. So I had to debate with myself and say, do I like it? I said, well, it's the design, and truthfully, that's really how nature works. Which ocean you ever see at any flat, constant temperature anywhere in the fucking world? Right throughout the day and the night? Where? You show me which nighttime sea temperature and daytime sea temperature is ever the fucking same. Anywhere in the bomber clock world. Show me that. And that is how we build our tanks. We don't have our tanks fluctuate even upon... no. So, because I'm using this style of heating now, and I'm no, I could, if I want, program that change in with this unit, because this unit allows me to set day and nighttime temperatures. But because, and I might do that in the winter when I don't open my doors as door and windows so much. So what is happening now is that because the tank is a part of the home ecosystem, I'm allowing the tank to feel outside of nature. It feeling the nature now, because as I open my door, these guys are going to get a feel of what's going on outside. Yeah, them wake up with the sun just like me, because it's only that, right? So them really getting a feel of what it is in my own way to make them feel outside. So I will purposefully leave the door open. Like last night, I left it with the windows. I had to close the door. I had to crack the window till, as I said, I couldn't bear it no more. It was, you know, when I'm shivering, even though I have on my sweater, and this, and I had to literally draw for the blanket and put a blanket underneath this to keep warm. That is like, okay, no, I have to pull up the window, and I intended to not fall asleep, you know, but to crack it before I fell asleep. But as I said, the ganja was good, and I did just wake up, and like, I woke up and I felt, and I didn't feel the fresh air in the house. And like, the air feels different. I said, shit, I forgot to open up the window, so I got up real quick, cracked it, and then literally fell back asleep. So the fresh air coming in the house is always good for your tank, always good for your tank. As often as you can open up your house, because what this tells me is my heads up when I see the pH dropping, is that the home needs to be refreshed. And so it's an indicator, and that's how I'm using the pH. Is an indicator to tell me the direction the air quality in my home is going. And once it starts to get in the 8.5, you see that the picture is now yellow, although the pH isn't dropping too high, low I should say, but it's the direction it's going is caution. So the yellow means caution, and this is where why you're going to see now use a drop rock and more, not aeration from my air stone. So I am tempted to do that in phase 2. I'm going to leave the system as it is for now, and I'm going to use another method of just more frequent air exchange in the home by just leaving the windows probably a little bit more cracked instead of fully open, just breeze it out. Because you have the big breeze out where you just open up everything fully, which is what I try to do often. But there is a constant flow, which is I just crack the window. So there's always some fresh air coming in, because it's springtime now. I'm not really worried about snow, but because it's not the May long weekend, we still can get sub-zero temperatures at night. So you have to still be careful. I still have to be careful. I don't want to really fall asleep with it as a really tiny crack, because then that won't risk damaging any pipes. I would wake up if it got that cold. But anyway, so this is just a quick update on the tank and the systems that I use, and why I use Exoterra is it preserves the heater by not having it to switch on and off. So the heater never switches on, switches off, because my heater doesn't go through the hysteresis, which is I should say not due to the heater's internal thermostat, I should say. This now is controlled directly by the Exoterra, and it's always giving that heater power, more like a dimmer switch. So as a tank needs less heat, it dials it down and those bars drop. If I close the windows now and I let it heat up back to the regular temperature, you will see the bars drop down to, usually I don't see it over 2. So it goes like in almost in the power saving mode, where it just draws a lot. Oh, see there, see drop a while ago, right? I see it. You got to see it. It's just a fluctuation right there. So that's exactly what would happen, but it would just stay down. So that really just showed me that right a while ago at the sensor, the temperature, just something happened with the temperature right there. So in that moment, and that could have been just the waves that hit it. But yeah, so this is how that works, and why I watch it. Now it will also tell me if there's something wrong with my heater. If there's a malfunction in my heater, everything here flashes. And so as I walk in, it will be flashing at me and say, your heater is defective. Something is wrong with your heater. Check your heater. So as a heads up display, red means that it is putting power to the heater. When it goes blue, that means it is not putting any power to the heater, because the tank has already reached its temperature and is staying there stably for the required amount of time. So it literally, and only in that time would it shut the heater off. So it would shut the heater off in a case like, for instance, your lights were overpowering the tank and the heat in the tank raised because your light the intensity from your lights was heating up the tank and was literally raising it above this heating point. This unit here would turn the heater off automatically. So I don't use the Apex for that, but the Apex also is a backup to this, where I have programmed the Apex for, I think it's probably a 2 degree above this, that if it reaches that maximum temperature, then you go and kill the outlet. Yes, don't, and you see there are 2 plugs. One of these is for the extra terror. You lock off the power to this outlet and shut that fuck down, because you should have never seen that. So something is going on wrong here. So I'm giving the Apex the power to, because that probe is a more accurate run, and if you should never see a temperature that high, and it never has. So that's the redundancy beyond the redundancy. This is the raster redundancy I talk about. So the Apex unit cannot control my heater like this unit can. Very subtle, very gradual, allowing the heater to have its longest life, because the switching mechanism in it isn't going on and off. It's on, and it doesn't need to go off, but rarely ever. And so I expect this heater to last me way longer than the manufacturer predicted, based on how I operate it. That's why I use this one. And the length of it, you can see I could have used like some of the fancy ones like the Cobalts and stuff like that, but I don't need another computer. You know, my Exoterra computer is, in my opinion, way better than the Cobalt's internal mechanism for their heater, and I don't think it can do what this one can do. Right? So yeah, some of you might want to use that. I would say yes, it is the equivalent or better if you want to go to the Cobalt. Certainly I can see it as a nice sleek black design here that will probably get lost, but I like the Eheim. I like the look, the glass look. You know, sometimes when the night lights are on, you see, come back on this side, you can see me filming over here now, you know. I didn't want to stay in the camera. Yeah? Oh, it's a show off. Oh, it's a show. Yeah? Yeah, I just sort of like it. It's giving me sort of, you know, it's an industrial, sort of yet clean, it's submarine-ish. It just have a nice feel to it, oriented this way, and I get a longer length for the radiation of the heat as well. Because remember, heat rises. Yeah? So the fact that the heat is being dispensed over a longer length, from here across the body here, then as the water flows over it through the waves, I get that dispersion over a wider area, so to give more of a even heating of the tank, versus when I just had it vertical here. Now yes, the water is spinning and maybe would have done the same thing, but I want the warmest part coming from the bottom as much as possible. So I warm the bottom of the tank, and then it rises. So I get that convection current as well, as smooth as possible. So I get the convection currents here, right along the heater, with the wave pump pushing at the base. So I get that warm water that rises, and it comes up and to the cooler part here. And that's why this is the Blue Lagoon. When you go to the Blue Lagoon in Jamaica, it's a really interesting experience, because you find 2 distinct the temperature barriers in the water, because part of it is fed by a spring, a very deep spring, and the river comes in from the top. So you'll feel where, let me see if I remember, the Yes, the top of the water is cooler, and like right by your navel going down to your feet is warm. It's two different temperature climate zones in there, and it's because of the water, the hot spring water rising up. So that's sort of what this is also mimicking, is having that warm water coming up from a spring underneath the earth, which is why you have the rock bottom. Yeah, because let's not forget, this is a part of the ocean. You have the aquifers at the bottom of the tank, the ocean, the rock, the bedrock that rises, and you have that superheated water that comes from the core, or wherever it's coming from, in the aquifers, because it's closer to the core ish. You have that temperature there. You know what I'm talking about. So that water rises, and you have those geysers sometimes that comes up. So you have that hot water that comes up, and you have that upward flow. So let's not forget that is how the waters of the ocean also are replenished from the aquifers that burst up and providing that warm, superheated, fresh bacterial loaded all kind of juiciness in there for them, and you have that outcrop coming up. That's sort of what I like about this look, and it is the peninsula design, and it sort of carries me back to the foundation of the earth. So yeah, that's sort of the concept behind this. There's something I'm going to add right in this corner. Everything that you see me do now is going to happen right in this corner right here, and it is going to make such an improvement to the biological, chemical demand of the tank, and how I manage that right in this corner. So I'll come back to you guys with that when I'm ready. This is me, the Rasta Reaper.